Everybody, Steve Schirmer, the Golf Gambling Podcast, here with your one and done picks for the 2024 Wyndham Championship. And we are coming right down to the final stretch of your one and done contest. This is the last regular season event of the PGA Tour. We have two FedEx Cup events. Maybe you go towards the Tour Championship, but for most everybody, there's only 3 events left. If you are right fighting for a money spot or towards winning your pool, you really got to start nailing these weeks. So let's go over some good picks to make for the one and done for your one and done contest for the Wyndham Championship. Kind of a weird week this week for the Wyndham Championship. There's going to be some weather concerns. I don't think we're going to see golf until at least Saturday. Maybe this thing is shortened to 54 holes. But once they do start playing over the weekend, it's going to be your typical Wyndham Championship. It's going to be humid, soft. You're going to have to keep the ball in the fairway, especially if they do live clean in place. That's really going to make it a lot more advantageous to hit fairways here. So I'm just going to target guys who I generally just would normally target at the Wyndham Championship. Guys who generally hit it pretty straight, pretty accurate, are pretty good Bermuda putters, good between 100 and 200 yards. Obviously, some good course history here is a big plus. So I got a couple of those guys on my list this week. So let's start with number 5. Let's go with Justin Rose. We haven't seen him in a couple weeks since he almost won the Open Championship, but he's got a really good track record at the Wyndham Championship. I believe he was involved in that playoff back in 2021. That 6-way playoff for the win here, and he's a really good Bermuda putter. Over his last 50 rounds, I have him as one of the best Bermuda putters in this field. He obviously hit the ball great at Royal Troon. He keeps the ball in the fairway, so maybe there is some positive momentum for Justin Rose coming into this tournament. So I think he's a very viable one-and-done pick for your contest this week. So let's go with number 5, Justin Rose. Number 4, Thomas Dietrich, coming off a really good showing at Le Golf National. Top 10 finish there. He's got a pretty good track record here too. Very solid finishes. Makes a ton of birdies. I wish he was a little better iron player than he typically has shown, but he's shown some flashes recently. Putting the ball great, like I just mentioned, makes a ton of birdies, driving the ball a little better too. So maybe, his good finish at Le Golf National, a place where he had to keep in the fairway. And it was, if you did that, birdies were definitely easy to come by. Maybe you can parlay that into a good showing this week. Maybe there's some travel concerns coming from Europe, but it's a 5-hour flight back over. That's not really a big deal. It's like going over to the West Coast for a lot of these guys. So I'm not concerned about travel issues with him, especially if this term is delayed to the Saturday. I think it'll be fine. So let's go with Thomas Dietrich as a potential one-and-done pick for your contest. Number 3, Cam Davis, in really great form. Obviously, he won the Rocket Mortgage. He came T19 at the 3M Open. Iron play has been trending really well. He's a great Bermuda putter too. Putts really good at the Wyndham Championship. He also won Rocket Mortgage. Those are Donald Ross greens. These are Donald Ross greens here too. So maybe he just likes putting on Ross greens. Great track record at this tournament. Let's go with Cam Davis and maybe getting a second win in 5 starts or so as a one-and-done pick. Number 2, Brian Harman. Again, just another typical guy who would do pretty well at the Wyndham Championship. Accurate, good putter, good scrambler on Bermuda, playing pretty good recently. He's got a top 10 recently at the Travelers. His Wyndham Championship history is a little bit up and down, but he does have a couple top 10 finishes here. So he has shown some upside. He's got some win equity as well. So let's go with Brian Harman as a potential one-and-done pick for you this week. But number 1, look, he's the favorite on the odds board. I didn't bet him, but I haven't used Sungjae Im in my one-and-done contest. And if you haven't used Sungjae this week or up until this point, just use him. I mean, could you use him next week at TUC Southwind? You could. It's probably a good Sungjae Im spot too. But there's probably going to be a lot of good options because it's a elevated event next week. You probably have a lot of options to use. So if you haven't used Sungjae like I have, go use him. I'm going to use him. Great form. He just fits. He checks all the boxes for what you would want at this place. Great course history here. Accurate hitter. Hits it pretty close from 100, 200 yards. And he's really go over 200 yards this year as well. There's a fair amount of shots over 200 yards, especially on some of the par 5s that you got to capitalize on, the par 3s as well. Great Bermuda putter, great scramble on Bermuda. So he's going to be my one-and-done pick for my contest this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done it already, go subscribe to the Golf Gambling Podcast on Apple or Spotify or wherever you watch your podcast. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel that you're watching on here. We do a lot of great content, give you a lot of free content every single week for every PGA Tour event and live event as well. So go subscribe to that channel. Go follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok. And with that, good luck with your bets this week for the Wyndham Championship. Good luck with your one and done picks. We'll see you next week for the FedEx St. Jude Championship.